What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Drumroll Please, Zach and EJ Talk Sports. This is episode 17, the Keith Hernandez episode. Not that Keith Hernandez will be joining us on the show, but that he is our universally accepted number 17. So we are going with the Keith Hernandez episode. Although today we will be talking a lot about football. My man, Zach here. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, EJ. How are you?
Good. So I know baseball preseason lifting has started. How's the training routine going?
It's going good.
Nice. What are you guys doing this year? Anything new?
Nothing new.
I have constantly been tweaking my exercise and training routine. I'm a hot mess, but I just got this book, and I felt like it was up my alley. It's called The 1 Minute Workout by Dr. Martin Gibala. And I was listening to him on a podcast called Found My Fitness. And like literally the science behind this is staggering. It's if you do 1 minute, they call them exercise snacks. That if you do throughout the course of the day 5 1-minute exercise snacks, which is 1 minute of high intensity training, like 1 minute of like push-ups or burpees or jumping jacks, that it actually has a profound like fat burning effect on your body.
I have a few questions on that. Number one, is that guy in pretty good shape, the doctor?
Yeah, he's actually in pretty solid shape.
But like just randomly during the day, you just go, it's time for a workout snack, and you just get on the ground and start.
You get like if you were going to have like an Oreo snack, but instead you start rocking like burpees, or you like just sprint upstairs. But they talk about like, and there's others
that could be kind of dangerous sprinting upstairs though.
And apparently overseas they're doing it, but they're doing it with like every day, or they're running experiments where they're doing it with like everyday activities. So like instead of like walking from your car to like into like your school, it's like a more brisk walk with like a book bag, like more intense. So like doing everyday activities but with a little bit more intensity apparently is showing these like very interesting effects on metabolism and fat burning.
How long have you been doing that for?
Well, I just got the book, so zero.
So any progress so far? No.
There's been no breaks.
No workout snacks yet?
No, just a lot of Peloton and
do one right now.
Nobody wants to see me doing burpees, but we do have a very exciting show today as far as things we're going to talk about, which is predominantly NFL. I know that we left everybody off with our fantasy football fun podcast special last time. Everyone out there will be super excited to know that collectively, Zach and I have 0 wins, and our trusted producer is the only person in the room with a victory and at the top of her fantasy league. So maybe she should be doing
we can give some pretty good excuses. I'll go first. I had Travis Kelce. He was hurt week 1. I have Josh Jacobs. He hasn't done anything yet.
He has not.
Justin Fields, they decided they don't want him to run the ball anymore. How was I supposed to know that? My wide receivers are super mid. Zay Flowers is cool. That's pretty much... Oh, and my defenses, my kickers, been not that good. Because the Lions don't like kicking field goals, I guess.
True.
So.
Now, see, for me, I felt this podcast is what really came back to bite me. Because I went in and I thought to myself, you know what? I think I have a solid strategy. We found out, obviously, where we were picking in the draft and where I was sitting, which was 9, I believe,
9.
Sitting 9. Looking over some mock drafts and things, I figured, you know what, might be a good opportunity to zig when everybody else is zagging. And we knew we were going to have a lot of heavy receiver action going on. I was going to come out, my strategy was to come out and pound running backs early, try to get 3 top-tier backs. With the way the draft was falling, it looked like I could have a shot at either Saquon, Bijan, with my first pick, Jacobs, or Aaron Jones coming back with the second. And in the third round, I was right in Breece and Kenneth Walker and Damian Pierce range, and I was like going to go back, and then that 4th round was sitting there, and I would have the choice between either popping off my first receiver, which would have been Drake London, D-Hop range, or Fields. But you were ahead of me on the pick, and you sniped Jacobs.
Let's see how that draft strategy paid off for you.
Well, as I'm saying, you threw me into chaos, so then I made the panic move and said, I can't pass on the value, so I took Cooper Kupp, who was then soon IR'd.
Yes.
And
let's go through the team real quick.
Let's go through the team.
You got Anthony Richardson, who's looked very good, except now he's hurt.
Guy can't finish the game, man.
Yeah.
Dolphins fan,
yeah.
I'm plagued by quarterbacks that just apparently can't finish games.
Yeah, you could use Mac Jones, man. Jahan Dotson. What is
Love
he?
him.
He hasn't done anything so far.
He's just laying in the weeds right now.
Yeah,
He's waiting
Jackson
to strike.
Smith and Jigba. He's done even less so far.
He's hurt. He's working his way back.
You have a combined 10 points between your starting
But these
receivers.
guys are they're building up. As we
Brees
move.
Hall. He had 9 yards last week.
Yeah, but he had 127 his first
James
game.
Cook. Latavius Murray's taking his touchdowns.
Yeah, but he still put up 127 all-purpose yards, I believe.
Okay.
So I mean,
Dalton Kincaid's done a whole lot of nothing, but you'll say he's lined up at receiver.
But let's not distract from the fact that I also took Musgrave, who I really like.
No, we're gonna get to your bench. Tank Dell, who's starting.
I picked up Tank Dell.
He's pretty cool. Saquon.
He wasn't even drafted.
Hurt.
I know.
Luke Musgrave. He's another
big
rookie.
Musgrave guy. Big Musgrave guy.
A common theme of really young guys here.
It
Alvin
is.
Kamara, he's suspended.
Going with the youth. Yeah, he's suspended.
Jameson Williams, he's also suspended.
But
for 4 more weeks.
I know.
Jonathan Mingo, he hasn't done that
like
much.
Mingo, man. He's DK Metcalf in a Carolina
Cup
Panthers.
on his IR, and then we get the best player on your team, Nick Folk.
Hey, you know what? He has been. He's been producing. He steps up. But listen, here's the thing. My team is built for the long haul. Every season I come out and I storm the gates. I jump out. I look solid, and then by the time we get to playoffs, I'm one and done. You knocked me out 2 years ago when I was a 1 seed, and you came in as the 8 seed. Took me out.
You remember who knocked you out?
Last year?
No, last year. No, 2 years ago. Who personally?
You.
No, but who personally?
No.
T. Higgins.
Yeah, T. Higgins.
T. Higgins put up like 40.
No, T. Higgins was on my squad the year before that. And then last year, same thing. Team George Sheehy came in, limping into the playoffs, and beat me first round. So my goal this year was to build up guys that I feel that are going to be peaking at the right time. Now, obviously, there could be a fatal kink in my plan here, where if my team actually doesn't fire off enough early on, I might be so far out of it by the time they do start doing anything. So we'll see. Maybe we should just, defer and let our producer handle all the fantasy stuff from here on out. But today, we're going to kind of dive in more into the concept of the NFL and, just overall and less about fantasy. So, I'm very interested in your thoughts so far through 2 weeks and kind of projecting out, through the first, quarter to half a season and maybe even honest as to what you're seeing as teams you're really liking and teams you think, you're not really buying the hype on.
I mean, off the bat, you look, the AFC East teams all look like solid teams. It doesn't look like the juggernaut of a division we thought it was. That could mostly be part of Aaron Rodgers' injury. The Chiefs, despite losing that first week, they do look pretty good. I mean, last week they had Kelsey and Chris Jones back. They beat a very good Jacksonville team. The Browns obviously look terrible, and they lost Nick Chubb. The Bengals are 0-2. They have no offense. The best team in the league so far, probably the 49ers. And they have a great defense. They have a great offense. Brock Purdy looks very good. They have all the weapons. And the Cowboys have embarrassed both New York teams. But they just lost Trayvon Diggs. The Eagles look meh. Eagles look worse than they did last year. They still look fine. Jalen Hurts looks solid. And the Falcons, Bucks, and Saints are all 2-0, which is unbelievable. I don't know if any of these teams will finish over 500, but...
Well, here's my thing. Is sometimes I think, and I'm guilty of this, maybe more so than most, is it's so easy to fall guilty and to fall victim to the eye test. Like right now, and being a Dolphins fan, you figure I should be on top of the moon, right? But also being a Mets fan, I feel like I'm being set up for the Charlie Brown. Lucy's got the football teed up right now, and I'm gonna go run up and kick it. And next thing I know, I'm gonna be on my back. So I'm gonna wait. But I'm in a couple group chats with all my Dolphin buddies, and they're already planning their Super Bowl tickets. And if you go on ESPN, Dolphins are one of the hot teams right now, right? And it's because when you watch them play, they're fast, and they rattle off these big chunk plays, and then other teams aren't winning with a lot of flash, but the Dolphins are sitting at 2-0, right? But they are 60 points for. Nice number. 51 against. You mentioned the Eagles, right? Who, we're saying aren't a team that's like, sitting like super pretty. And at the same point in time, The Eagles are 59 points. They
Mhm.
put up 50. They put up one less point than the Dolphins. The Cowboys have put up 70 points. The Niners have put up 60 points. The Packers have put up 62 points.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at teams that, are putting up just as many points as the Dolphins. But I think, we fall victim to this, like how flashy are they doing it? I think one of the numbers that's shocking if you want to buy into it is the fact that the Bengals have put up only 27 points, all year. Now Joe Burrow last year seems to be kind of mirroring the same thing. Missed all of preseason with an injury, and then comes back and they get off to this slow start. But you're looking at the Bengals, putting up 27 points for the season and 51 points against. So what are your like how, when you're looking at these teams and you're looking at this points for and against, like what do they mean to you as far as that? Is that something that you buy into? Break down, for example, some of these offenses right now that are being considered high octane offenses in terms of that. Like the Dolphins have put up 60 points. But yet I just rattled off a bunch of teams that are putting up just as many points. Packers have put up 2 more points than the Dolphins. But are people calling the Packers an elite offense? Or are people calling the Dolphins an elite offense? And what is that? Like where do you fall with that?
Well, I think when you look at it, comparing the Dolphins and the Packers, I mean, the Dolphins are probably considered more elite because not only have they scored more points, I think you said, they can be more reliable, I'd say. We've seen for the last 2 years when Tua plays, it is an elite offense. They have 2 of the best receivers in the NFL. And overall, the coach has a good offensive scheme surrounding his receivers and to benefit Tua. And when you look at the Packers, we don't really know yet. It's been 2 games with Jordan Love. He's looked very good. But it's only been 2 games. Their receivers I like their receivers. I love Romeo Doubs. Jaden Reed's cool. Christian Watson hasn't played yet. But they're still unproven. Their running backs, Aaron Jones is hurt. A.J. Dillon runs slower than me. So I'd obviously take the Dolphins offense. I think you really got to look. I feel like you can almost say the eye test more than points. Because points is obviously the statistic that wins games. But I feel like I can trust teams that I watch and say that offense is better than certain offenses. And they'll have less points.
But see, what I consider to be an elite offense, and I think the mechanics of this have changed over time, is what do you do when you take away the top option, right? So now most groups are going to have a second, most second tier teams or teams contending are going to have a solid second option, right? So if we're staying with the Dolphins, obviously we'll say the concept of you take away Hill, okay?
Which
Who do
the
you have
Patriots
next?
pretty much did.
Right. We got Waddle, okay? Or you have Waddle, so you go to Waddle. Okay. You manage to remove Hill and Waddle. Where are you going next?
I mean, Raheem Mostert had a huge game.
Okay. So for me, where I'm talking about the concept of an elite offense, I might look at somebody like San Francisco, where we're talking about the offense as a unit. They have an elite play caller. They have an elite level, 2 elite level wide receivers. I know you're a big Ayuk guy, right? So they have 2 very viable options, top tier options at receiver. You take away those, you have a top tier tight end, who is also a fantastic blocking tight end. And we're not even talking probably about the biggest weapon on the field, which is your running back, Christian McCaffrey. So to me, that is what I consider an elite offense. I don't necessarily consider the Dolphins an elite level offense. They have elite talent, and I think that but we haven't seen what they do when somebody knocks them off their first or second option. We see Tua go back and hit, look like basically he's on his first or second read and that's it. Like he's not back there. One of the things that they're criticizing Justin Fields about right now, not to pivot, is that he looks like he's back there trying to read the whole field from the pocket, as opposed to
he's reading Emmanuel backwards.
Right. So it's it's this concept of we should mention you have Justin Fields on your fantasy team, so you might be a little jaded right there. But in my opinion, I would say I think the Dolphins are a top tier offense. Maybe this is splitting hairs, but to me, an elite offense is a team like San Francisco's offense right now. And just for comparison, if I'm pulling up, let's see if I can get to San Francisco here. San Francisco is 60 points for, so the same amount as the Dolphins, 30 against. And, so points, maybe if we're looking at the points for, points against thing, the Cowboys have scored more points than in the NFL. And technically they did it against what we'd say is an elite defense with the Jets, last week. But I think I'm a little more particular with, throwing around the elite thing, and I'm not ready to hand the Dolphins, a mantle of, being an elite, caliber offense. Same with the Jets. I felt that it was premature to start saying the Jets had an elite level offense until you really get on the field and prove it.
My question to you, though, is then, according to your standards, how many elite offenses are there?
Right, and that's to me what I think the concept of the term elite is. If if half your league is elite, then you kind of just watered down the term.
If I ask you, are the Chiefs an elite offense?
I do not think the Chiefs are an elite offense right now. I think they have an elite player. I think that they have an all-time great at quarterback, and I think that they have an all-time great at tight end. I think they're playing the equivalent of an NBA two-man game, and I think that they desperately need help at the wide receiver position right now. And I think that, they have an elite play caller. Two elite play callers if you're looking at Nagy and, I'm spacing on his name. My favorite guy, Andy Reid. Overseeing the offense. But right now, if with Kelsey out, how did they look? Mahomes looked like, he was under duress the entire game. And where was he going? He had Tony dropping balls, little Joker. Dropping balls and basically, fumbling them into the arms of defenders. And I like Pacheco a lot, Rutgers guy. But, can he, if they got to go to a situation where they got to pound out the game on the ground, do the Chiefs have that ability?
So you're saying a non-elite offense can win a Super Bowl?
I am saying a non-elite offense can win a Super Bowl. I mean, there's the phrase "defense wins championships" wouldn't exist.
But then I ask you, what's the Chiefs? Are they better on offense or better on defense?
Are the Chiefs better on offense or better on defense right now, or when they were winning Super Bowls?
The Chiefs as a team. You're not saying the two games or just when they were winning the Super Bowl, like the Patrick Mahomes era Chiefs. Let's say the last 3 years.
I think the Chiefs have had an underrated defense over that time, and I think Pat Mahomes is an incredibly clutch player, and they've made incredibly clutch plays. If we go back to both of their Super Bowls, you keep the one, against the Niners, it was that wasp play. I mean, the Niners, you could argue, outplayed them that entire game, so it wasn't like, and then they got demolished by Tampa Bay, where their offense did absolutely nothing in that game. And Mahomes, they had to go out and rebuild the whole offensive line that next year, and then last year when they won the Super Bowl, you could argue, the Hurts fumble was a huge one, but again, it was a couple clutch plays. You need those kind of players, in my opinion. Like, you need guys with the quote-unquote, cliche ice water in the veins, players that can go out in clutch moments and make, big-time plays. But does that mean you're an elite offense? Like, that's where I'm kind of right now, splitting hairs, but doing it for, the sake of this conversation in terms of, who's going to beat you. You go into a Chiefs game, you're saying, do not let Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce beat you. You go into a Niners game.
And they still win a bunch of games.
Because those guys are just ridiculous players. Just like Kobe. I mean, you could say, don't let Kobe beat you, but best on best, like sometimes it's just a hat on a hat. And that's sometimes the best part about sports, where you have to throw strategy out and you just have to let your players go out there and find a way to win the game and put man on man in a sense.
Yeah, I'm just gonna agree to disagree there. I mean, if you're looking at an offense that lost Tyreek Hill, the best receiver in football,
yes,
and was still elite the next year, and won the Super Bowl, and it was the best offense in football or one of the best, I don't think you can look and say it's not an elite offense.
Again, I would beg to say, what are we using then as in a term elite? Because it was. Would
you rather have the Cowboys offense or the Chiefs offense?
When?
Which offense would you rather have for the rest of the season?
Well, I will take any team that has Pat Mahomes as the quarterback.
So you want the Chiefs offense?
I would take the Chiefs offense.
So which teams are you not taking the Chiefs offense for? The 49ers.
What team am I not taking the Chiefs offense? I would trust the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan.
Fair enough.
Their offense. I would, let's see, looking through here, I like the Jags, but I don't think the Jags are there yet. I think the Chargers are. I like the Chargers' potential, but I don't think the Chargers are there yet. There's not many. I mean, the Rams have potential. The Rams have looked good. I like the Rams' offensive strategy, but I don't think the Rams have the elite players.
Exactly. Yeah.
So to me, it's like they're missing the pieces.
You're getting the Dolphins' offense
Would I take the Dolphins' offense over the Chiefs' offense right now?
for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
You would.
I would because I like the weapons the Dolphins have.
I can't disagree. I like the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is you just named two teams. So you're saying offensively, there's only two teams better than the Chiefs, and the Chiefs aren't elite.
Are not? Well, yeah, because
So there's two elite offensive teams.
And I'm not even sure I'm calling the Dolphins an elite offense yet. I am slower to crown people than maybe most, and anoint people the next this, the next that, the next this. I feel that you can go a whole NFL season and not crown somebody an elite offense. You could say they are a top offense. You could say they are the best offense in the NFL. But if we are talking about an elite level offense, that has to transcend more than one season.
Well, Patrick Mahomes has 2 league MVPs. Travis Kelce is the best tight end, maybe of all time.
Right. Probably
Probably number 2 because Gronk's better. But in 2 Super Bowl rings, that's an elite. The only teams who can win Super Bowls without quote unquote, I think, elite offense. You look at like the Ravens, and they had an amazing defense.
So you'd argue that Brady had elite offenses every year he played?
I'd say so. Yeah. I mean, he was Tom Brady. It's like.
What about his first year when he were the Rams? When he beat the Rams, were they an elite offense, or was the Rams the elite offense going into that game?
Are you talking about Tampa?
No, I'm talking about when he played when his first Super Bowl against
that was a tough game.
Greatest show on turf.
Maybe that year he wasn't elite offense, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, an elite offense is an offense that can win a bunch of games with elite players. I don't think you can say the Chiefs are not an elite offense.
I don't think an elite offense is that. That's not my definition.
I think you just need to look up the definition of elite.
Perhaps, but my definition of elite in EJ world is saying that, you know what, just because you win a bunch of games doesn't make you an elite offense. Like if we broke that down to tight end, then could I just say that T.J. Hawkinson is an elite tight end?
But we're not talking about players. We're talking about an offense as a whole.
But the term
elite, a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society.
That's right. Yes, I would not say the Chiefs are superior in offense to anybody. I think they have clutch plays. They are not superior. They might make more plays to win a game because they have players that can perform in those situations, but that you're not watching them. When you were watching them play last year in the playoffs, they beat the Jags. They beat the Bengals, right? And the Bills were in the playoffs as well, although they didn't face the Bills, but they choke anyway, right? In either of those games, the Jags game or the Bengals game, were you saying the Chiefs' offense is superior to the Bengals' offense, or the Chiefs' offense is superior to the Jaguars' offense in those games?
I'll say this though. I'm gonna change this to basketball because I'm kind of done with this conversation. But let's say when James Harden,
and maybe you need
when James Harden was putting up 30,
maybe you need an exercise snack right now.
When James Harden was putting up 36 points a game, and Steph Curry was winning games and championships, who was the better offensive player? Maybe James Harden. That was actually a bad example. But let's say this. No, let's say last year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander put up like 30 a game.
Wembamba.
His team didn't win. Let's go to even say LeBron.
Yeah.
He had worse offensive statistics, but his team won. LeBron was a better offensive player.
Right.
So I think winning is a thing that goes to how good your offense is.
Well, then the Rams would have beat the Patriots in the second Super Bowl, and they were the greatest show on turf.
But it's not the only thing. I'm not saying if you win, like Dennis Schroeder winning is better than Anthony Edwards losing. No, but like winning when you have comparable, I feel like goes over the loser.
What?
This is getting to like algebra.
winning goes over the loser.
I'd say
divided by the tie.
Let's say offensively
squared.
Statistics, right?
Okay.
Or like you look at this is the person who has the better statistics. The next person's here. Let's say this is the every other team and this is the Chiefs. And then you consider that the Chiefs win games with offense and win championships.
How? But what happens if it was an interception on the last drive by a Chiefs D-back that sealed a tight game that was 21-21 at the time? And a defensive back picked it and took it to the house.
So you're saying that's one defensive play.
Right!
The offense scored 21 points.
Because to me,
the defense had already gave up 21. So it's not like you're saying the defense won them the game.
Right, but what I'm saying is you can play 30 seasons of pick the sport, and we don't have to crown anything in that elite until you see something that performs at a superior level. So to me,
it performs at a superior level by winning a Super Bowl. I don't.
But the Ravens won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer as their quarterback. Was that an elite offense?
I'm pretty sure Joe Flacco was their quarterback.
They also won with Trent Dilfer the year that they beat the Giants. And
what year was that?
I don't know. It was the year they beat the Giants.
Was I born yet?
You may have been.
Okay.
Possible.
But they had an elite defense.
Right.
So I'm saying you have to have one elite aspect of the game.
That's what you're trying to say now.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to say the whole time. So the Chiefs have an elite defense. No. And their offense is elite. That's another argument to why their offense is elite, besides the reason they have Mahomes and Kelsey.
All right, it's on like Donkey Kong now. For the 4 people that are out there watching this, minus Zach's family, why don't you guys chime in and tell us what you think about elite, and tell us what your concept of elite is and what is deserving of that crown. So I actually found this conversation quite invigorating. I got to be honest with you. It's great to see you get riled up, my friend.
I'm trying to find a statistic here.
I know. You got to be in your bonnet right now. This is good stuff right now. I see the intensity that you're going to need to dig yourself out of the hole you're in fantasy as well. So, but here's what I'm saying. Since we are running out of time, why don't we talk about the teams right now after you get ready to slam dunk me with the statistic that you've just found?
I mean, I'm just looking. The Chiefs have the 3rd highest scoring season of all time.
Okay.
It was Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs. That's fine. And, yeah, they have... What do you mean it's locked? I need a premium subscription.
Exactly. Your computer's trying to save you from the embarrassment
they're
of this argument.
Here 2 more times on the list.
I know, but we never said they were never an elite offense. Did we? Did I say that?
Have they got worse?
Do we need to go back and check? Do we need do we need to go back? No. What I'm saying, yeah, when he had Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill was going crazy all over the field, who was stopping him?
I mean, but they proved that they didn't need Tyreek Hill.
Right. They proved that they did not need Tyreek Hill to win a Super Bowl. The conversation was not.
You're saying having an elite offense is harder than winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Couldn't you argue that having a Hall of Fame career is harder than winning one MVP?
It depends.
Right.
Like, is Vince Carter a better player than Allen Iverson?
In my opinion?
Are you about to say Vince Carter?
I like Vince Carter.
Over Allen Iverson? Okay, that's
practice? We talking about practice?
That's something for another day. Allen Iverson?
Yeah, why? Vince Carter's great.
For how many years?
Couple.
Allen Iverson was good for just as many years, and he was better. There was no point when Allen Iverson was playing where you could say Vince Carter was a better player than him. When Allen Iverson was at his peak and a good player, he was miles better than Vince Carter. Then Vince Carter milked out 15 extra years of his career.
So you're not a Vince Carter guy?
I'm not a Vince Carter guy, but we're talking about Allen Iverson.
AI?
Yeah, I mean...
You talking about Denver AI?
I mean, Denver AI is better than Vince Carter.
Is he?
I think so.
I don't know. We'll have to take that one to the polls as well. Okay. So, let's wrap up with your take on, right now, your NFL contenders and your NFL pretenders. And then, final thing that we're going to go away with, hot take I want from you. Which coach do you see having the greatest opportunity of being fired before this season ends? Which coach walks into the 2023 season and doesn't walk out?
Okay. I'll just list off some contenders here. Okay. I'd say the Dolphins are contenders if Tua is healthy. So I'm going to assume he's healthy.
Okay.
You gotta say the Bills are contenders, though they haven't won anything big for now. I'm gonna say they're contenders. No one else in the AFC East could be contenders or pretenders because they're all. Raiders, they're 1-1. I don't know if I'm calling them a pretender because no one's calling them contender. They're not. Chiefs are contenders. No one else in that division are contenders. Ravens, I don't think. Yeah, the Ravens could be contenders. I don't think the Ravens can win a Super Bowl, but so they're not contenders. I just worked through my own logic there. The Bengals are still contenders. The Jaguars are contenders. No one else in that division are contenders. So the AFC is just kind of not that great. Cowboys, contenders. I'd say maybe it's finally their year. The Eagles, contenders. Commanders, I don't know how many people are saying the Commanders are contenders. They're 2-0. So let's say if people think they're contenders, they're pretenders. There's no way scenario where the Commanders win a playoff game. They probably won't make the playoffs. Giants, I don't think they're either. They're obviously not pretenders, so they haven't looked that good. But they're not. I wouldn't say the Giants are contenders. I'm not saying the Giants can't win a playoff game. I don't see the Giants winning the Super Bowl. 49ers, contenders. Rams, let's say the Rams are pretenders. I don't believe in the Rams. Matt Stafford looks good, but is Puka Nacua really that good? Or is I don't think I trust them against these elite teams. My computer's about to die now. So I'm going to finish it up here. Packers, would you call the Packers pretenders, or are they just not? I don't know how many people are considering them to be contenders. That's the thing. So pretenders is a weird idea where it's you have to be considered good to be a pretender. So, yeah, the Packers aren't a contender. I'm going to say contender, not a contender instead. Okay. So, Lions, contenders. Vikings, not a contender. Bears, farthest thing from a contender possible. Falcons, I'm going to come back to them. Saints are not contenders. Panthers, not contenders. Falcons, I don't think the Falcons are contenders. And here's my hot take of the episode. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are contenders. Led by Baker Mayfield. I've been a day one Baker supporter, though. When Baker wasn't on a team, I said Baker Mayfield can contribute to a team. Baker Mayfield's won more playoff games than a bunch of other quarterbacks. And that we also talked, that's a very situational stat because the first play of the game was snapped over Big Ben's head, and it was a touchdown for the Browns. But
all right, let me throw a couple quick rapid fire questions at you here. First, Bills finished first in the AFC East.
I think I might be taking the Dolphins as of right now.
Okay, so no to that. Chargers make the playoffs.
No, I think the Chargers, funnily enough, that's not a word, but funny enough, they're always going to end up a few games short. Because what I've noticed about the Chargers is they look cool, and when they win games, they win some good games.
Broncos finished above 500.
Oh, okay, you were cutting me off. Okay.
That's the definition of rapid fire.
Not. No, the Broncos do not finish above 500.
Broncos don't finish 500. Deshaun Watson throws more than 20 touchdowns.
How many is he at right now? 2? Shoot. 20 is not that big of a number, so I'm going to say, I think I have Deshaun Watson throwing 20 on the dot.
Okay. The Texans get to 5 wins.
Ooh, that's right around where they're going to be, because C.J. Stroud looks really good. I'll say no. I don't think the Texans end up reaching 5 wins.
Last AFC question. What city does the AFC Championship run through this year?
Is that who wins the AFC, or
who has home field?
Who's hosting? I'm going to say the Chiefs is such a basic answer. So I think the Chiefs are going to be the 2 seed. I think the 1 seed in the AFC. Oh, but they have to be in the AFC Championship too. I think it's going to be in Kansas City. I feel like that's the easy answer.
Okay. We're jumping to the NFC now. Rapid fire.
All right.
Commanders make the playoffs.
No, I don't think so.
Jalen Hurts is in contention for MVP.
I feel like, yeah. He was last year, so he looks decent.
Rams make the playoffs.
Ooh, I don't think the Rams make the playoffs now.
Cardinals end up with the first pick in the draft.
I think the Cardinals might end up with the first and second pick in the draft.
The Lions host a playoff game.
I don't think the Lions host a playoff game. They'll be in one.
Okay. and the Bucks win the South.
Yeah, I mean, I just said they were contenders, so yeah. I don't think it'll even be that close at the end of the year.
Okay. The NFC championship runs through what city?
I don't think they win it, but we're going to be seeing an NFC championship. Oh, no. Because I'm thinking of who's the 1 seed. The 1 seed's not guaranteed to make it there. So I was going to say Dallas, but I think Dallas might have the 1 seed, but I think Dallas might lose in the first round. So, I'm doubling down. NFC championship is going to be going to Tampa Bay.
That's a hot take. So Tampa Bay will not only win the NFC championship, they are going to be hosting the NFC.
I didn't say they're going to win it.
Oh. So you're going all into the point to where they lose.
I'm gonna give myself
their home field.
I'm gonna give myself a way out. My other one, I'd say San Francisco.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, my friend. The Keith Hernandez episode, spicy player Keith Hernandez was. That's why we loved him.
Yeah.
This was a spicy episode.
He's no Dennis Schroeder.
He is no
Ryan Tannehill.
But he is Keith Hernandez.
Yeah.
So, excellent job. Hope all you out there get into that comment section. Let us know what you thought of today's episode. Stay tuned. We have more fun and exciting stuff coming up. Next time, we'll probably be touching a little bit on the NBA, which would be well on its preseason, probably at that point in time, 4 or 5 weeks out now.
Might be starting, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So get ready to hear Zach's takes. Did you watch Winning Time, by the way?
I have not yet.
As a Celtics fan, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that series.
I also wasn't alive during that time, though.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Good time to be watching basketball. So especially
I'm
if you
sure.
were a
I'm
Celtics,
sure. I'm
Lakers
sure
fan.
it was for you.
I wasn't that old, man. I was still in my youth. All right. Anyway, till next time. See you guys.